Hello again everybody, I hope you've all had a lovely Christmas. Back today with another Temu collaboration video. Now I did do one the other week with a raised bed, but there was other items which Temu have kindly sent me as well, and there was just too much to put into one video, so it's split into two videos. So this is the second part of the Temu collaboration video. Kindly they've sent me some more items. Again, they let me choose whatever I wanted, so I tried to choose items that I'm going to use around the plot. So we've got a few parcels here. We've got several different items which I'm going to share with you today, and I'm going to share my thoughts on them as well. I'm going to be completely honest. Now if you want to go on Temu and do any shopping, it might be anything, not just gardening related, any shopping you want to do. There's all sorts of different things on there, and some of them are quite cheap as well. There's some real bargains on there. I'm surprised at how cheap some of them are. If you want to go on there and do your shopping, I've got a £100 coupon bundle that you can use to get a little bit of money off your Temu order. I'll leave the code down here which you use. Just search the code in the Temu app and you'll get a little bit of money off your order. Let's open some of these products and see what we've got. Now, what we've got here is a fruit picking tool. Well, not so much fruit picking, but fruit grabbing. I think that's the better word to use. The idea is, if there's any fruit that's out of reach in a tree that you can't reach, any delicate fruits like plums and things like that, you can extend this. You can have this tool, I'll put it together in a minute, and you can actually pick the fruits from wherever you're standing. You can just stand there with it and just let them fall into this little bag. Isn't that amazing? We'll put it together now and see. I won't do a demonstration. Well, actually no, I will. We'll pretend that we're picking fruit from the plum tree in my mum's plot. We'll see. We'll extend it fully. It seems to be quite good quality actually, this. The bag at the end, not so much though, it does seem very cheap. The string there is not being cut, there's like string hanging off it. Probably going to rip when I put too many plums in it. Blimey, it's long. It is very long. It's coming to the other end of the greenhouse. We're going to take that over to my mum's plot now and just do a little demonstration without the fruit, obviously, because it's winter. So, not there. Meet you over there in a moment. Okay, so the idea is pretty straightforward. You've got a plum tree. This is a Victoria plum tree on my mum's plot, and it gave loads of plums this year, but the problem is we couldn't pick them. I know I'm 6'3", but there's a lot of plums on here I couldn't pick. This tree is probably 15 to 20 foot tall, so you know it's hard to pick some of them, and a lot of fruits were just falling off and being damaged. We had to use a big stick to try and poke them and get them down, and we damaged some fruits in the process. If we use this thing, we might be able to pick some plums and not damage them. You know, sort of like give them a tap like that, and they'll fall in. We'll just pretend there's plums in here. 1 plum, 2 plum, 3 plum, 4, 5 plum, 6 plum, 7 plum more. Okay, we're going to pretend there's 7 plums in here, and the bag has managed to hold these plums, and then we'll pick them out like that. Lovely, very nice. And then when you finish with it, there's a little bag here which you can also put the deconstructed thing, whatever you want to call it, fruit picker. We'll call it a fruit picker. You can put it in this bag and then store it away in your shed. So yeah, very good stuff. So yeah, that's the fruit picker from Temu. I think it was about £15, £17, something like that. Pretty good quality actually, to be honest. It's quite weight to it. See, all the way. Yeah, I can actually reach the top of the tree. So that's pretty good, that. Very good stuff. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I'll definitely use that next year when it comes to picking these Victoria plums from this tree. Okay, so that is the fruit picker stored away in the bag. Just one criticism though. They could have had the bag a little bit bigger because, you know, I tighten that thing up, the drawstring gets tightened up, and we've got them sticking out of the bag. No biggie, I suppose, but it's just a bit awkward. I'll hang that in the shed, and then when we get some Victoria plums next year, I'm going to use this to pick them, and let's see how long the net lasts. I'm not confident it's going to last all that long, probably a couple of years, and then it'll probably break. We have this thing. Now this, I was really excited about this, to be honest. I know it's not the most exciting item, but when I plant all my onions, or a lot of things actually, to be honest, I find myself trying to space them apart. I use a ruler sometimes, or I just use my eyes. I'm trying to space them out as evenly and as neatly as possible. I've got a bit of OCD when it comes to planting things out. Now we've got loads of raised beds, which means I don't have to stand on the soil and get in there and start doing things in the open ground. Hopefully I can just sit next to the bed and use this thing to make holes to then plant whatever I'm planting in it. Now, they are only spaced about an inch apart, these, and there's 12 holes. So yeah, about 12 inches, it's about a foot long, that, and each one is about an inch apart. Obviously I'm not going to be planting my onions that close together, so what I may do is make my holes and then just plant an onion every other one, or maybe skip 2 holes, so sort of like they're going to be 3 inches apart, if you will, instead. That might sound like a bit of a tedious thing, you know, why make all them holes when I'm not going to use them all? But for other things that might be closer together, maybe carrots, if I don't make the holes as deep, maybe just a little hole instead. I'm trying to think of other things I can use. Beetroot, I could use this for beetroot, which are going to be relatively close together. And to be honest, the quality is pretty good. It's quite solid, actually. Okay, so the idea behind this thing is pretty simple. You've got your bed here, and yeah. Okay, yeah, you're making very small holes. The dirt does get caught in them in between there, which is a little bit irritating. You tap it off. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends on the soil. This soil is quite light and fluffy and loose. If your soil was a bit heavier, you know, a bit more compact, you're probably going to have an easier time. Maybe there's a technique. I'm going to put that in there like that. It just makes one big rectangular hole, to be honest. It doesn't really... I'll show you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. Yeah, that's not... Yeah, this isn't really what I expected. It's good quality. But I don't think it's necessary to have holes that close together, you know. Okay, so we have here some shade cloth, and it actually comes... I apologise for all the plastic sounds, there's a lot. So we have some shade cloth here, and they actually come with the hoops attached. I'll leave the product over the screen, I'll also leave the price as well. I can't remember exactly how much this was. I think it was about £15, £16, something like that. And it's quite long as well from what I remember when I ordered it. To be honest, doesn't seem the best quality, but it is very cheap, to be honest. I mean, 15 quid or whatever it was. Does seem quite cheap material, but I'm sure it's going to be alright. I think it'll do the job. The problem is, in the summer when the sun is beaming down, you know, I know we live in the UK, but we can get some pretty warm weather in the summer, and I grow a lot of cool season crops like onions, leeks, different salad crops and brassicas, especially salad crops. They can bolt when the weather gets too hot, and the shade cloth will help cool things down. So I'm going to be using this probably with my lettuces, to be honest, my salad leaves. Okay, I think I broke it then. I don't know what's happened there. I think they're supposed to come out like that. Okay, I'm a little bit disappointed that there's not much else there really. It's just thin metal. So yeah, not great. I would have expected them maybe to be a bit thicker or something more to anchor it into the ground. I mean, that's all we've got there, and it is quite flimsy. So yeah, the hoops aren't blimey, yeah, the hoops aren't great actually. Yeah, the hoops aren't very good. They're quite flimsy, and there's not much on the ends there to anchor it into the ground. You know, the shade cloth itself doesn't seem too bad quality. You know, but for the size, you know, it's a good few feet long. It's alright, it'll do the job. It might last a couple of seasons maybe. So that's not too bad. We'll get a couple of seasons out of it. Okay, what is next? Let's have a look. More netting material. I chose some carrot netting. Well, it's not actually carrot netting, but it's fine mesh netting, which I'm going to use for my carrots. We have a big problem with carrot root fly. If the holes in the netting are too big, they can allow the carrot root fly to get in. With this stuff though, the netting is much finer. Yeah, it's very, very fine woven mesh. And let's have a look at the quality. This is 2 by 3 meters, this stuff. And it was very cheap as well. It was only a few quid. It was like £4 or £5, I think. So, you know, for 2 by 3 meters, that's quite good, I think. And yeah, the ends are a bit frayed, and you know, there's bits hanging off the ends. Feels strong enough. Yeah, there are parts where, you know, the holes are a bit, bigger, if you know what I mean. They're not all evenly placed, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's going to stop the carrot root fly, hopefully, and we'll use that with our carrots. Now, I've got this little contraption, and what it is a seed sowing tool. Now, I'm a little bit dubious about this, but I thought we'll get it and see what it does, see if it works. It was only like £1.50 or £1.30 or something like that. But the idea is you put seeds inside it, and it dispenses them like that. And I'm actually going to do a little demonstration. We're going to put some brassica seeds in it, and we're going to see what it does. We're going to see if it works, if it dispenses 1 at a time or 10 at a time. We'll have a look. Okay, yeah, the seeds I've got here, just some turnip seeds. So, you know, all brassica seeds are the same size, and I think this is a good seed to use for this demonstration. Okay, got our seeds in there. have a look what it does. I'll just dispense them onto my hand. I'm not sowing any seeds yet because it's a bit early. I'm not sowing these yet. So okay, it lets out about 20 seeds at a time. So just, yeah, I mean, if you're sowing loads of like carrot seeds in a line thinly, or you're sowing multiple seeds in a module cell, yes, you could probably use that. But for very intricate, you know, just single seeds, planting one seed in one hole, or you know, if I'm planting tomato seeds or something like that, I'm not really going to bother with something like that. But if I was sowing carrots, maybe I'll use that. You know, if I'm sowing them down a line like that, just sprinkling them, I might use that. But it's not that much hassle to just have them in my hand and just sprinkle them anyway. So, do I see myself using that? Not really. Not really, to be honest. I think it's a little bit pointless. Yeah. If I were you, I wouldn't buy something like that. I'd just buy something else instead. There are other seed sowers out there. There's ones that will sow bigger seeds. You're not going to fit beetroot seeds in this. You're only going to get small seeds in there. Yeah, so that's the little seed sowing tool. Probably won't use it, but there's no harm in trying it. We've tried it and we've seen it doesn't really work. Anyway, next thing is these little clips. Now you could use these to hang your washing up. In fact, there's a picture of these little clothes hanging things. They look like chandeliers. Where people hanging their washing up. I'm not going to use it for that. I'm going to use it for securing my netting to my hoops. Now I use this MDP pipe for my hoops around the plot, and then I've got different netting which I use for different things. Usually it's just the standard insect mesh that I use, and I put that over brassicas and different things like that. But I've been using clothes pegs for the last couple of years, and you know, just your cheap standard clothes pegs from B&M or Poundland, and they're not very good, to be honest. The little what do you call it? The little metal thing inside the peg that makes it close. They just ping out and go all over the place, and the plastic goes brittle and it's falling apart, and yeah, it's not ideal. So I thought I'll choose something that's going to be much more durable, metal, to secure the netting to the hoops. And I've got these metal pegs. How many is in a pack though? I can't remember. I think there's 50 in a pack. Yeah, I think there's 50 in a pack, and yeah, they don't seem too bad at all, to be honest. I think they'll be okay. Whether they're rust proof, rust resistant, time will tell. I don't know. They may well rust, they may well fall apart, but yeah, I can see myself getting some good use out of those to secure the netting to the hoops. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And they weren't that much either, to be honest. I think they were only like £6 or £7. Alright, that's significantly more than what you'd pay for a pack of pegs at the pound shop. You know, you might get a pack of 50 pegs for £2 or £3. But these are going to be much more durable, I think. You know, you could get a pack of wooden pegs, which will probably just fall apart in a year, or the plastic ones will just go brittle. Because they're not UV stable, they'll just disintegrate within a year or two. Anyway, time will tell how they do. They might fall apart, they might rust, we don't know. But yeah, they seem to be pretty good quality, them pegs. Okay, so the last thing which we've got from Temu is another thing that I'm really excited about. Well, not excited, but happy to be using next year, because, you know, gardeners have huge problems with slugs, and I have a massive problem with slugs. And this year I used beer traps around the allotment, but I just used old mushroom trays instead and just tipped some beer in them. That worked alright, and actually I think that was one of the reasons why we managed to grow carrots in the end, because we put some beer traps around the carrots, and not long after we did that we had less problems with slugs, and we had a beer trap full of dead slugs as well, so you know, I think they worked quite well. So it was a no-brainer really, getting some beer traps off Temu, some proper purposely made beer traps. Stuck together. Yeah, so pretty simple really. You got your pot there that you put your beer in. I always end up with beers left over after Christmas. I get a crate of beers and I probably only drink half of them, and I end up with beer left over, so I'll probably end up using those to do this. I'm sorry guys, if I should probably wash my mouth out. There's a few people that probably won't like that, but yeah, I'm not a big beer drinker. Here's the lid, it goes over the top like that. Yeah, it goes on like that, and the slugs smell the beer. This is basically like a slug pub. We'll call it a slug pub. The slugs come up and go in the beer, and they drink the beer and they have a jolly good time, and then they fall in the beer and they drown. And they do that instead of eating our brassicas. Pain in the ass. Yeah, the roof there stops the rain from going in, so it's just going to be beer in here. It's not diluting the beer. We sit them in the ground like that, so we'll just bury it just up to the edge there. And yeah, they're pretty good really. We've got 6 of those, I think. We've got 6 of those. No, we've got 5 of those. So we'll probably choose 5 raised beds that have the most slug problems, and we'll put 1 in each bed. And yeah, the quality's pretty good, I think. Pretty good. They're only like £5, I think. 6 quid. They weren't that much really, to be honest. And yeah, the quality's pretty good. They're not exactly flimsy or anything like that. Yeah, pretty good. I think they'll last for quite a long time then, to be honest. We will get a few seasons out of them. Yeah, excellent stuff. So that is the rest of the items which we got from Temu. We got the raised bed, which we built the other week. That was £60, which to some people might seem like quite a bit of money actually. And it is a lot of money, £60. And others commented that there wasn't a rubber rim. Usually there's like a seal that goes around the top to stop you from cutting your hands. It doesn't have that, but the edge is smoothed off, so hopefully you won't cut your hands. Yeah, it's not the cheapest raised bed. I think for the size, compared to other raised beds, you know, you can get some raised beds that are more expensive than that. It is a little bit flimsy, but anyway, if you want to go and check the video out, you can do so by clicking here. So that was my little Temu haul. 7 different items. Quite happy with some of them. Others, the quality isn't that great. Like this shade cloth. The shade cloth itself, not too bad. I think it probably will start falling to bits, and bits of it will start falling off, so we need to watch out for that. And the metal hoops, like what even is that? Like, literally, it's like, do you know when you get the sparklers on bonfire night and you're left afterwards, once your sparkler's gone out, you've got like this flimsy metal rod? It's basically like that. That is literally what the hoop of that is like. You know, I was expecting it to be a bit thicker than that, at least, you know, but no. So I'm not too pleased with that. and if I were you, I would just use MDPE pipe with a bit of netting put over, or a bit of shade cloth put over that. That's probably going to last much better. I'm super happy with the slug traps. I'm super happy with the pegs. I'm happy with this thing, this seed hole stabber thing, and also this fruit picker. Super happy with that as well. I think for the price, it's about £17 I think it is. That's pretty good value. I mean, it's pretty simple really. It's just a thing that you stick on a tree and it just catches the fruit. Really simple idea, but you know, I think that's really clever actually, because you know, if you've got fruit falling off, it's not very good, is it? It's going to damage the fruit, especially if it's delicate fruit like plums. So yeah, and I think the quality of that's pretty good actually. You know, pretty good metal, pretty good plastic. I don't know about the actual net on the end though. I'm a bit dubious about that. That might break in time. Yeah, not too bad. A big thank you to Temu for gifting me these products. I'm going to find uses for all of them, except for that thing. Don't buy that, guys. That's just a waste of money. It's just going to dispense loads of seeds at once, which defeats the object really. I may as well just use my fingers and just pinch, you know, spread seeds like that. So if you want to go and do some shopping on Temu, buy anything, not just gardening related, just anything, because there's all sorts of different things on there. You can use my unique code below, search it in the Temu app, and you can get some money off with my £100 coupon bundle. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you all stay safe. Happy New Year and happy gardening.